They said no one saw it coming. That's the lie people tell themselves when the truth is too uncomfortable to swallow. I saw it coming. Her name was Mara, and she had mastered the quiet art of being overlooked. She laughed softly, dressed plainly, listened more than she spoke. The kind of woman people described as nice, a word that meant harmless, forgettable. Especially next to Eleanor, her best friend since university, radiant, loud with joy, married to Julian Vale, a man whose wealth had weight. The kind that bent rooms around him. Mara loved Elena. That part was real. But love is not the opposite of hunger. Sometimes it sharpens it. Julian entered their lives like a well-lit doorway. He funded charities, collected rare books, wore his power like a tailored coat. Eleanor adored him openly. Mara admired him quietly, his patience, his attention, the way he noticed what others missed, the way he noticed her. That was the beginning. Not the affair. No, Mara was too careful for something so crude. But the observation. She learned Elena's rhythms. When she was careless, when she was distracted, when she trusted too much. She learned Julian's fears, scandal, betrayal, the humiliation of being made a fool. People think framing someone requires bold lies. It doesn't. It requires small truths arranged dishonestly. It began with money. Nothing dramatic. A missing transfer from one of Julian's private accounts, rerouted to an offshore holding company. The paperwork bore Eleanor's digital signature, copied during a night of wine and laughter when she had asked Mara to help organize charity receipts. Mara had smiled, nodded, memorized passwords. Then came the emails. Not forged, never forged, simply edited. Snippets of Elena's real complaints, stitched together into something colder, greedier, suspiciously timed to coincide with the missing funds. Mara never accused. She worried. "Julian," she said one evening, eyes downcast, voice trembling just enough. "I don't want to hurt her, but if something were wrong, wouldn't you want to know?" Doubt is a seed that grows best when watered with love. Julian confronted Eleanor gently.
How could
Eleanor
you?
laughed,
After
then
everything?
bristled,
I didn't
then
have a
cried.
choice.
There's
Her
always a
shock
choice.
looked like guilt
Not
to a
this
man
time.
already afraid. Investigators followed trails that had been laid months in advance. The accounts, the emails, a witness. Mara, who hated every moment of telling the truth as she had arranged it. By the time Elena realized what was happening, her life was already being packed into boxes she hadn't chosen. Divorce papers arrived before criminal charges were quietly dropped. Julian's lawyers ensuring the mess stayed private, solvable with money and silence. Eleanor left the city furious, humiliated, certain she had been betrayed by everyone except the one person who hugged her hardest at the airport. Mara watched her go with tears that were, to her surprise, real. A year later, Mara married Julian in a small ceremony by the sea. Guests whispered about fate, about how tragedy sometimes leads to unexpected happiness. Julian smiled again. He trusted again. At night, Mara sometimes dreamed of Elena, her laughter, her unguarded love, the simplicity of their former lives. Guilt visited, but it never stayed long. Guilt requires believing there was another way. Mara stood on the balcony of her new home, city lights glittering below like scattered coins, and reminded herself of the only truth that mattered. She hadn't taken Elena's husband. She had simply proven that love, like wealth, always goes to the one willing to plan for it.